It's Wednesday, March 19th, and we're going to get into our story for today. Yeah, I am aware about the whole thing with my room. You guys probably don't see it as much, but it's more as we get towards 5th, 6th, 7th period. The air is not moving in my room, so it does get warmer and stinkier in here as we have more and more kids in the room. And camp stuff, again, I went through and emailed all parents who have not turned in the permission slip yet, so I'm hoping to get those here soon as I make the groups. Calendar schedule for today, did that one, we're good to go there. Then, let's finish out this story. So the idea of Hades being lonely, we got to the, remember the name of the girl he falls in love with? But he cannot just go out with her, he has to have permission.
From Zeus!
Why?
Because she's on Mount Olympus.
She's on Zeus's land.
There you go, part of his kingdom. Zeus, of course, gives permission because he's all excited to see Hades going out into the world and being social. But even with Hades, apparently he's not real good at being social and talking to the women. So he comes up with a backup idea, which is where he's going to use the flower, and he uses it to go fishing. Drags her underground. Once the going underground happens, then she is no longer part of Zeus's kingdom. Now she's trapped down there. She begins to spend all of her time pouting and spending time in her bedroom and not coming out because she wants nothing to do with them. Her mom is going to be Demeter. And so that's when Demeter comes in there. Demeter goes and confronts Zeus and says, I want to have my daughter back. Zeus says, you're out of luck. She refuses to do her job and begins to pout and says, I'm then not going to do any working.
No, I need this for my hair. I wasn't going to do it. I was here.
It becomes winter.
No.
Where's my hair tied up?
Made a choice, didn't you?
I wasn't going to shoot it.
At this point, when she refuses to work, we have invented a new season, and our new season winter. Zeus finally begins to care once we have winter.
No TikTok.
And that's where his social media goes down because we can no longer have the sacrificing. So he sends the message down and says, hey, return Persephone.
Arnold's right.
Yeah.
Tell a joke. Hey, Maya. What?
Oh, I have a joke. You guys and your B points. So hang on. So I got to take that kid. Kid over there made sure she spoke. That kid just made a laughing sound. That kid also. Hi, welcome back again. Fun stuff. Shh, can't hear you. I'm busy teaching again. And so I know that's how I feel all pouty on the inside too. So at this point, he sends the messenger down and says, you're gonna have to return her. And Hades comes up with his plan. What does he have her do before she leaves?
Dinner with them.
What does she eat at dinner?
Pomegranates.
And so that's where she eats some of the pomegranate seeds.
And she didn't feel hungry.
And she didn't feel very hungry. And she gets to head back up. But this is where he gets to come up with a plan, and she leaves. This is roughly where we left with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So she gets a chance to go back up to Mount Olympus, and here's where she gets a chance to finally talk to Demeter and Zeus. She goes, I'm back. Demeter gets to be all excited when she sees her daughter. But Zeus looks at her and goes, you look a little different. She goes, yeah, I've been in a basement for like the last couple of years. I got kidnapped. Of course I'm going to look a little bit different. He goes, no, that's not what it is. There's something else about you. Wait, did you ever eat anything while you were down there? She goes, no, I didn't eat down there. She's like, I was all sad and depressed. He goes, so you never ate a single thing? She goes, well, I mean, mostly. He goes, what do you mean by mostly? She goes, well, last night there was a dinner before I left, and I felt bad, so I did have some pomegranate. As soon as she says she had some pomegranate, she watches both Zeus and Demeter's faces fall. She goes, what? What's wrong with pomegranate? You guys don't like pomegranate? They go, dear, if you eat food from the underworld, you become part of the underworld. You can't leave the underworld. Once you've eaten it, you are forever cursed from the underworld. You're going to have to go back down. She throws a fit and is like, I want to go back down there. So Zeus strikes a deal with Hades and goes, all right, how about, because she did not eat an entire pomegranate, and I think you were trying to be sneaky, how about we come up with a deal? And Hades goes, what kind of deal? He goes, well, how much of the pomegranate did she eat? He goes, I don't know, like 3, 8, something like number of seeds. Zeus goes, how about for each seed that she ate, she has to spend 1 month of the year down with you. And then the rest of the year, she gets to spend up here with her mom on the real world. That ends up making Hades happy, ends up making her unhappy. But Hades goes, deal, I accept these things. So part of every year, Persephone has to go down to the underworld and spend time with her husband. The rest of the time, she gets to go up and be with her mom. This is how the Greeks explain how seasons work. When they're together, we have summertime. Demeter's happy, everything is growing, she's all giggly. But then she realizes her daughter is going to be leaving soon, and she starts getting depressed, although her daughter's still with her. And this becomes the season known as
Winter.
fall. Then her daughter's completely gone, and she spends all of her time crying and eating ice cream and watching her episodes of the Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's when we're going to get what season?
Winter.
Winter. And then after winter, she gets excited because her daughter's coming back.
Summer.
So at this point, we now only have 2 seasons, summer and winter. Summer's when they're together, winter is when they're apart. According to the Greeks, fall and spring weren't really seasons. They were just sort of the in-between as we went from one to the other. Well, part of our issue now with winter time is humans. Back when, who made this race of humans? So when Prometheus made this race of humans, there's no fire. Oh, I forgot. I have a picture, the one that's back over there behind Mr. Perry. This section that's right here, which I can zoom in on, this person is going to be,
Hades.
this one's going to be,
Demeter.
and the one behind them,
Prometheus.
Persephone.
Told you.
So this is why you see in the picture, Demeter is yelling at Hades, and she's in the background looking all depressed. It's supposed to be a representation of this story, which is why you can see it over here. Demeter is yelling at him, and you can see her in the background. All from that story.
I could never love my niece.
So now, we have winter introduced for the first time. This brings us back to Prometheus. And the last time we saw him, what warning does Zeus give?
Do not strike two.
And what happens if you do?
Then you're gone.
So this is where we're going to get to Prometheus' poor choice. Well, poor choice for him, not for us. So here's the issue. Winter has just now been invented because of Demeter getting all sad. Prior to that, we had non-stop summertime. Well, when the winter happens, because Prometheus made this race of humans, we're not made for wintertime. We don't have fur except on the top of our head. And we don't have fire because Zeus is scared to give humans fire at this point. He had 2 big reasons why he wouldn't give humans fire. One, there was a prophecy, which is like a foretelling of the future, where either Prometheus I've seen or I've been heard that it was an oracle. Someone foretells and tells Zeus the entire world will someday be destroyed by fire. So they say, always be careful of fire. At some point, it is going to burn everything in the world. The idea of giving fire to humans is scary. It's the same reason you don't give a box of matches to a 2-year-old and go, have fun. Nothing good is going to come from that. So he goes, we're not giving fire to humans because they are irresponsible and will burn everything. If they don't burn everything, here's his other worry. Right now, humans don't have fire, so they can't make good weapons. One of Zeus's favorite hobbies is coming down to Earth. Well, no, that's true. But coming down and stomping on them. And he likes to go all squishy, squishy, killy. At this point, humans just have like twigs and clubs, so when he stomps on them, all they can do is like smack them in the toes with a club. If humans get fire, it becomes like Hephaestus. And you can use fire to shape metal. And then if they shape metal, they can make swords and spears. Then when he comes down to step on them,
It'll hurt a little more.
exactly. Now, can the humans kill him?
No.
So the best connection I can make is if your favorite hobby is going out in the summertime and just finding ants on the sidewalk and just stepping on
I
them
do.
and going ant, and squishing them. Well, imagine one day you go out to step on the ants and they all have thumbtacks glued to their backs.
Oh.
And they're all looking at you going like, eh. And now when you go to step on them, can you?
No.
Why would you step on
Well, I
it?
would.
You could, but does it take all the fun out? That's the same issue as Zeus. He's like, if humans have fire, it takes away all my joy of stomping on them. So humans can't have fire because of weapons, and they can't have fire because they might burn the world. Eli, good stuff.
You answer my question.
I do that sometimes. Japanese.
Wait, but I thought the humans couldn't see him in like his actual form.
Right, that's why he doesn't take his actual form.
Well,
Okay.
he can still be big.
And Noah.
He goes in giant form.
But if we go and step on the ants and they have thumbtacks on the back, we have something more powerful.
So, because of all of this, Prometheus realizes that humans without fire are going to end up dying off. And he decides that it is worth going behind Zeus's back to bring fire down to the humans. Because if he doesn't, we die. And he spent all of that work the first time teaching us how to do sacrifices. And if now we die off, he's like, ugh. So he waits one night for Zeus to go to sleep and decides this is the perfect time. He goes and picks up some of the fire like a big burning torch and brings it down to earth to show it to the humans. But Prometheus also isn't dumb. He realizes if he comes down to this human village and just puts fire on the ground for humans, what's Zeus going to do in the morning?
Put it out.
Exactly. He's just going to come down and put out the fire, and that's completely useless. So what's Prometheus going to do to solve this?
Teach them how to use it, or like.
So that's what Prometheus does. He comes down, and at first, when the humans see giant God and fire, they freak out and try to run away from him. And he's like, no, 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 come back. I'm going to show you how to make fire. They go, how do you make fire? So he takes these two sticks, and he goes, watch. Shaka, 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 whoop, and a little spark comes out. And the human's like, woo! And he goes, now you do it. And he gives the humans the two sticks, and they go, shaka, 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 shaka. Spark comes out, and they go, woo! And he goes, exactly. Now, the problem is,
Dry leaves.
if he teaches this village how to make fire, and now they know how to make fire,
They can teach another village.
but what's Zeus going to do?
Kick it out.
So what should they do?
I know. Wait.
You rather answer. You were so close.
Oh, teach others.
And so that's what he tells them to do. He goes, listen, now that you know how to make fire, if you're the only ones that know how to make it, Zeus is just going to come down and kill you. And the humans go, what? Ah. He goes, so to solve this issue, you need to go tonight before Zeus wakes up, and you need to send people in as many directions as you can and teach as many people as you can. Run to villages and show them about the shaka 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 with the two sticks things. He disappears and says, good luck. If you don't teach as many people as possible, Zeus is going to kill you. So over the course of the night, they start running to different villages, and they're like, hey, do you want to see the cool shaka shaka thing? And the other people are like, shaka shaka. He's like, watch this. Shaka 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 shaka. And the fire comes out. And the humans think it's great. And then they go to other places, and they start showing them how fire works. By the next morning, fire has spread all over the land. So Zeus wakes up the next morning. It's all stretchy. Comes out onto the front porch of Mount Olympus. And he's like, got my morning coffee. And he's like, ooh, it's still kind of dark out. You can still see the stars in the sky. And if you look down at the ground, you can see the stars all over the ground. Why are there stars on the ground? And he can see little glowing things all over the ground, which look like little stars. So he goes, Hermes, come here. And Hermes runs up. Hermes goes, what's up, Dad? He goes, can you go down there and see why there's stars on the ground? Hermes goes, got that. Takes off. Comes back up. I got bad news. Zeus goes, what? He goes, those aren't stars. Those are fires. There are fires everywhere. Zeus's first thought is that the prophecy has come true. And he's like, the world's on fire? And he goes, no, no. They're running around different places, and they all have these sticks in their hand, and they're going shaka, 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 and they're making little fires. And Zeus is like, what? Humans are dumb. There is no way they... Only one person is smart enough to go behind my back and teach humans how to make fire.
Prometheus. It's not Prometheus, trust. It's Prometheus.
Definitely Prometheus. which is where Prometheus comes in. So again, he calls Prometheus up and goes, Prometheus, my room now. And Prometheus comes up and he's like, hey, buddy, what's up? And Zeus goes, hey, look down there. And he goes, ooh, pretty stars. Zeus goes, those are fires. And he goes, but I didn't think humans had fire. Zeus goes, yeah, I thought that too. But apparently overnight, they learned how to make fire and they spread it to everybody. Would you know anything about that?
Nope.
And Prometheus, again, unlike you guys, is not very good at lying. And he goes, yeah, it was me. If I didn't do it, they were all going to die off, and I didn't want all of our work to go to waste, so I did it just to be a good person. I was trying to teach them something to make them do a good thing. And Zeus goes, oh, that was so sweet of you. And Prometheus goes, oh, thank goodness. And Zeus goes, but now I have to be mean to you. But, he goes,
Like Mr. Broken.
Zeus has a plan. Now Zeus goes, I'm not going to just kill you. And Prometheus goes, okay. He goes, wait, rumor is you have a special ability. What's his special ability?
Seeing into the future.
Seeing into the
Oh,
future.
this would be a prophet.
Zeus says, I'm going to ask you one question. If you can answer me this one question, I will forgive you completely, and we'll move on from this like nothing ever happened. He goes, okay, what's your one question? He goes, I will tell you tomorrow.
No! You're so rude!
It's awful of me. I know, but the bell's going to ring and you're going to have to leave. And I don't want to keep you here because you guys want to go away and I want to get rid of you. I mean, have you guys have the rest of your day.